The Harmons couldn't help but shudder when Tyler's gaze swept over them. An uncontrollable fear seemed to come over them. Though he spoke calmly without any emotions, his gaze alone was enough to instill fear in them. For a moment, they felt like they were all prey to a monstrous beast. Do not be mistaken, Tyler. She doesn't mean that. As Hector said that, he shot Natahar a glare. Stop messing around. Go back to your room right this instant. Natasha, this marriage alliance is an arrangement between two families. This isn't child's play. You mustn't act recklessly. Frightened, Jessica stepped forward to warn Natasha. It was one thing for her to speak impersuasively in front of Jailer. But now that Tyler was here, things would get out of hand if she still insisted on saying such things. I'm not messing around, nor am I acting recklessly. Natasha stood her ground. I know you're an exceptional person, Tyler, but matters of the heart cannot be forced. Nothing good will come of this. I hope that you can cancel the arrangement. The Harmons were in no position to annul the marriage arrangement, but the same could not be said for the Grants. You want me to cancel the marriage arrangement? And why should I do that? Tyler asked, aloof. As I said, we're not compatible. It will not bring us any good if we get married just for the sake of getting married, Natasha said with certainty. I don't care. Tyler took another sip of his tea before he continued indifferently, since we had an arrangement, then you're going to follow through with it, or you're going back on your words. Can you please be reasonable? Natasha frowned. I already have someone that I like. You and I, it's not going to work out for us. Oh. And who is that person that you like? Tyler demanded. It's him. Natasha dragged Dustin out from behind her. You. Jailer's brows furrowed when she had a good look at Dustin. She never expected to bump into that annoying person here. What? Do you know Hearn? Tyler shot Jailer a sidelong glance. Tyler, he's the one who fought with me over the flower of crimson gem, Jailer hissed. Oh. Tyler wasn't too fazed. Do you see now, Tyler? This is the man I like. We have mutual feelings for each other, so I hope you'll give us your blessings, Natasha said. Mutual feelings? Tyler chuckled menacingly. You're mine, Natasha. Nobody can take you away from me. If you refuse to marry me, I'll kill him. You get me. His words were straight to the point, and he did not even bother to mask his threats. How dare you? Natasha was furious. There's nothing much I daren't do, Tyler stated matter-of-factly. Tyler, if it's an alliance with the Harmons that you're after, you have a myriad of other options. Why are you so intent on marrying me when there are so many other eligible young ladies in the Harmon family? Natasha drew a deep breath and announced gravely, since this is what things have come to. I'll come clean. I am no longer a virgin. I have slept with Dustin. What? You've slept with him? Chaos broke out when they heard what Natasha said. The Harmons all stared at her wide-eyed in disbelief. The Grants, on the other hand, were equal parts horrified and infuriated. Natasha, what nonsense are you spouting? Are you out of your mind? Jessica was so shocked she broke out in cold sweat. It was a disgrace to the Harmons' reputation for Natasha to lose her virginity before marriage. Besides, it was also blatant humiliation toward the Grants. You wretched girl. What nerves you've got. Hector was beside himself with fury. The Harmons had strict rules, especially toward their daughters, who were expected to preserve their innocence until the day they were married. Natasha Harmon, you are shameless. Absolutely vile. Jailer was so angry she slammed her hands on the table and jumped up from her seat. With her brother's status and prestige, he was never going to marry a woman who had slept with someone else. Are you trying to provoke me? Tyler's brow knitted together ever so slightly. A brief second later, he regained his composure and put on a facade of indifference. I do not mind that you've lost your virginity. What? Once again, everyone was shocked by what they heard, especially the Grants. It was like they did not even know Tyler anymore. You do not mind that I'm no longer a virgin? Well, what if I told you that I'm with child? Natasha tossed him another shocker. Truth be told, I'm pregnant. I'm carrying Dustin's child. The moment she said that, a commotion came over the room. Oh, you wretched child. How terrible. Oh, Natasha, you've brought disgrace upon the entire Harmon family. How can you agree to a marriage alliance when you're already pregnant with a brat? How utterly shameless. From the Harmons to the Grants, everyone was admonishing and chastising Natasha for what she had done. Some of her close relatives were so furious that they didn't even know what to say. Even Dustin himself was surprised to hear that. Was this the trump card that Natasha claimed to have? Wasn't it too much? It didn't seem like the best idea out there. She had totally destroyed her reputation just to get out of the marriage arrangement. He had to admit that he was impressed by this trick she pulled, but he couldn't help feeling bad for her. He could already imagine the mean words and criticism that would be thrown her way from now on. Natasha Harmon, I've shown you enough patience and tolerance, but this is too much. You're pushing my boundaries. Tyler slowly stood up with a dark expression. No matter how composed he usually was, he could no longer stay calm now. The blame is on me, and for that, I am sorry. If you need any form of compensation, just let me know. Natasha said. Compensation? Tyler scoffed. Do you think you're being smart by pulling something like this? That everything will go your way because of what you said? What do you mean? Uneasiness crept up over Natasha. If there's one thing I hate the most, Natasha, it's being lied to. You better pray that I don't ever find out that your pregnancy is a sham, or who knows what I'll do to you. Also, you won't be getting what you wished for. I will not call off the marriage. I stand by what I said. You're mine, and nobody's ever going to change that. It doesn't matter whether or not you're pregnant, and it doesn't matter if you're dead or alive. What's mine will stay with me forever. I will be back for you in 10 days, and if you Harmons insist on rejecting the marriage arrangement, I'll take it that you choose to be enemies of the Grant family. As for what will come of that, I'm sure you're more than aware. With that, Tyler turned and left, but his words left Natasha in a state of stupor. She did not expect Tyler to be so persistent even when things had turned out the way they had. Count yourself lucky that my brother is still willing to accept you, Natasha, but I have you know, people like you will never have an easy time in the Grant household. Jayla followed in Tyler's footsteps after she hissed meanly. Oh, Natasha, what's gotten into you? Jessica was so upset that she was just short of pulling her hair out. You've just managed to ruin what was supposed to be a perfect marriage. It was foolish of you to pull something so absurd. Natasha, Tyler isn't an average person. You'll never fool him with your pregnancy deception. I'm afraid that you've gotten yourself into some deep trouble. Hector sighed. The only reason he had gone along with the act was because he bore hopes of freeing her from the marriage arrangement, but who would have thought that Tyler didn't buy it at all? And not only so, he did not seem to have any intention of calling off the marriage at all. There must be some other way. Natasha's brow was deeply furrowed as she cracked her head thinking of a way out of her predicament. The way things had played out was beyond her expectations, and she was in a dilemma right now. Dustin, hurry. You should get out of Millsburg pronto. Knowing Tyler, he'd never let you off the hook. Hector was suddenly reminded of the danger Dustin was in. Don't you worry, Mr. Harmon. Tyler won't be able to mess with me so easily. Dustin smiled and continued, oh, and leave the matter of calling off the marriage to me. If persuasion doesn't work on him, then we'll try more aggressive means.